Good Wednesday night. I am Thabo Mdluli, and thank you for joining us tonight here on the news feed late night. We'll begin this hour with the latest announcement coming from the SIU. President Cyril Ramaphosa has authorized an SIU investigation into a tender which allegedly was awarded illegally by the Gauteng Agricultural and Rural Development Department. A 27 million rand waste picking tender was reportedly awarded to a company called Enviro Mobi in 2017. Reports of how the department contracted Enviro Mobi to supply 58 waste pickers in the Ekurhuleni municipality surfaced in 2018. Well, the company failed to deliver on the project a year after the tender was awarded. Joining us now to tell us a bit more on that, joined by the SIU spokesperson, Kaiser Kanyafu. Kaiser, good evening and thank you very much for your time. Then the president signing this proclamation, when did that happen and what does this now authorize you to do?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mdluli, and to your viewers. The president signed last week, and the proclamation was gazetted on Friday the 23rd, which is Proclamation R15 of 2021, which was saying to us that we must go and investigate this tender that was given to a company called Enviro Mobi. And this is a contract that happened in 2017. And we found so far, because before we do the proclamation, we were able to look at what was to be investigated. And among other things, this contract was entered into on the 14th of March, 2017. But what was interesting about that is it was a 3-year contract that was supposed to end on the 31st of March, 2020 to the value of 27.5 million. But on the same day that the contract was signed, on the 14th of March, the company submitted an invoice of about 16 million, which was paid on the 24th of March 2017, even before any work was done. And for us, these are some of the grounds where we've got to look at what is being done here with this contract and the issues that are related to the contract, and make sure that if there is money that has been lost from the state, we have to recover that money.
Now, what's the process here? I believe the Ekurhuleni mayor has responded via a tweet, be it welcoming the SIU investigation. Says he hasn't actually caught sight of the actual proclamation himself. Is he going to be served with that? Is he supposed to know? How does that process work?
Yeah, when we do the proclamation, we don't have to give it to him. We then take this proclamation through the processes of going to the Department of Justice, and the legal team there look at it. When they are satisfied, they take it to the minister, who signs it, send it to the president as a recommendation. The president then, finally, after the presidency legal team has looked, he then asks the president to sign, and that is the process.
Right. Are you worried at all that you will be following a cold trail here? It's a matter, as you put it, that was put down in 2017. Alarm bells were rung in 2018, but that investigation was not pursued. It is now 2021. You believe you will still be able to track the money trail and what actually happened here?
No, definitely we will. You must remember that we are looking at processes. And if ultimately, when at the end of the process we find that we need to nullify this contract, we will do so and recover all the monies. And if the monies are not available, the people that are responsible, we will go after them. And if they've got properties that we have to get the money from, we will do so and get those properties. You have seen in the previous examples when I was here, where we took, like in the Transnet issue, we were able to recover after a few years. We were able to recover 5 houses and 35 cars from an executive who had received about 18 million. Therefore, that is not an issue for us. We've got to make sure that we follow the processes and get to the bottom of it. If there is a need for us to recover at the end, we will do so.
Now, in 2016, while he was still a member of parliament, the current spokesperson of the ANC, Punitive, declared his directorship of this company, Enviro Mobi. Do we know at this stage if he is still the director of the company or was the director of the company at the time of the contract?
We are not at the position now to be divulging such information. We will then follow up each and every person who was involved in this whole thing. Like we always say, we do not investigate people. I see, obviously, the excitement is there because of the link between the company and Punitive, but we are investigating processes, and we'll find people inside those processes, and we will then have to call them and question them for their involvement.
And how soon do you expect this process to actually happen?
So we have got a proclamation now, because the people need to understand that when we have the proclamation, it means now the full might of our responsibilities will be used in this proclamation. Therefore, we now have all the powers that we need to subpoena people, to subpoena documents, and we are going to then start with this process now that the proclamation has been signed.
Now, there are those guys who have been saying the SIU needs to have a little bit more bite, more than just the civil claims that you put forward. And I know that's at the extent of the power of the SIU. Really, you don't have the ability to hold anybody criminally liable. Are you at all entertaining that idea of having such powers?
No, there is a reason why they are different law enforcement agencies. We've got our responsibility. We are involved in criminal issues in the sense that when we get criminality, we are in a position to then give that kind of information to our sister law enforcement agency, being the Hawks and the NPA. Therefore, we will continue to do that. If we find criminality in this one, we'll make sure that it is done. But we don't only pass it to them, but we also make sure that we monitor that it be implemented.
Yeah, but there are some who are actually calling for a more punitive type of approach by the SIU. I mean, as opposed to just saying, well, we'll call back the portion of the contract that was unlawful and the interest thereof, but something a little bit more substantial in terms of the powers that you have. For example, saying some of the people are continuing actually to do business with the state even after the SIU has made those recommendations.
Yes, you need to understand, Thabo, that we do what we're supposed to do. On the issue that you just mentioned now, when we do our investigation, we find that the companies have been complicit. We recommend to the municipality in a case like this to say this company should be blacklisted. But the processes have to happen in between the municipality and treasury for them to be able to do that. Therefore, if we are not in a position, we cannot be doing the work that is being done by other people. But we do what we're supposed to do. If we have got to report you to agencies where you are able to, I don't know, there is some interference on my side.
All right. We can hear you clearly still, so you can continue.
Okay. I was saying we will do what we're supposed to do. When there's criminality, we will do it. We will send it where it's supposed to go. When it is about discipline, we'll send it where it's supposed to go. When a person is part of a lawyer who's doing something wrong, we'll report it to the societies that are involved. If it's issues of architects, we'll report them where they're supposed to. If it is SARS issues, we'll do so. Because it is the responsibility that is being put on to us to do it, but we are not in a position where we are going to other people's work except to do what we're supposed to.
Right, Kaiser Khanyago, I appreciate your time and thank you for joining us tonight. Speaking on behalf of the SIU there, that is Kaiser Khanyago. Meanwhile, we'll continue with our conversation then tonight on the commissions of inquiry. Are they ineffective tools in dealing with corruption? Standing by to have that conversation with us, Professor Kathy Powell, Professor Bonang Mohale, Karam Singh, as well as Nomzamo Zondo, the Executive Director at SERI. You are getting in touch with us at Newsroom 405 or otherwise send us your WhatsApp questions and comments to 072 110 5584. The Newsfeed Late Night continues next.